Hello, this is Resource of the Week with SolanoConnex, Mental Health Service Access and You. My name is Valentina Kelly.
And I'm Elena Starr. And this week we're meeting with Linda Chandler, board member, co-chair of the marketing committee and volunteer with Carquinez Village. Hi, Linda, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm just fine. Delighted to be here.
We're so happy that you're joining us today. And we can't wait to learn more about Carquinez Village.
And I can't wait to tell you because I'm spending a lot of my time in my retirement as a volunteer and as a board member and totally enjoying it, meeting new friends and feeling very energized and invigorated by new friends and by new projects, including working with you and with Toro University. Very good, very good.
Awesome. Oh, that's so good to hear. Can you just tell us a little bit about Carquinez Village?
Sure. Carquinez Village is not a physical place. Carquinez Village is a virtual organization. It's a membership organization. And the concept was actually created back in Boston about maybe 10, 15 years ago by women and men who were retired and looked at the future, which can be 1/3 of your adult life because we're living longer and we're healthy. And what are we going to do? And how are we going to meet friends when we're outside of an environment where we would normally meet them in the workplace? So that question really raised, what do we do about this? And we're not ready to go to assisted living. And we're not really interested in living in communities that are only adults. So Carquinez Village started there, and we are now one of 47 in this state. And we are part of the Village to Village network, which is what started in Boston back those years ago. We are virtual, as I said, and we have a membership structure so that people become members. And then the work is all accomplished in our particular area with pretty much volunteer help. We bring a lot of different resources and skills from the workplace we've come from, and we apply them to our communities and to our particular population. Our mission is that we're working with adults who are living in their homes or in wherever they call home in a community, which is their comfort zone. We know that people who live and stay in their communities where they feel comfortable, they feel safer, and they live longer. And so we wanted to make sure that people could, like myself, could live safely in our home and that we could stay in the same community as long as we possibly could, being safe. And the other thing is not being isolated, being connected and integrated into the regular community activities. Some of the things that limit us are things that happen with age, things that happen with your body, things that happen with your ability to safely drive. And these are the kinds of help that you're going to need as you get older. And how could we manage that with the volunteers? So that is what we're doing, is connecting and engaging people in an invigorated community of older adults. It's very exciting.
That is so exciting and such an amazing, progression, I think. So I wanted to ask you, what kind of services can people that are part of Carquinez Village have access to?
Well, we have services and we have programs. Let me speak first to the services. Types of services that are mostly required when we haven't had the pandemic have been the request for transportation, because many people have eyesight issues or physical issues that keep them from driving safely. And they just don't feel confident. And I think the rest of the public is very happy to have them make that decision when they feel that way. And so volunteers step in, and we have a system where people can call and they ask a volunteer, they put up a request, and then any volunteer can see it on our website, on our special part of the website, to see that request came in. And if they have that time and they're willing to pick that request up, then they handle it. Now think of this: you take an Uber, it costs you something. You go in the Uber and the Uber driver leaves, and he leaves you at the doctor's. You've forgotten your glasses. You're hard of hearing. You get into your appointment. You don't know medical terminology. You can't remember what the doctor said anyway if he didn't hand it to you in writing afterwards. And you're walking out without your purse. Now you have to call Uber again. Well, in this case, our people, if at request, would come in and sit and listen to what the doctor said, remind you to pick up your cane and your hat and your purse, take care of getting you back to your door safely. at no charge because you have paid a membership to have this service. So it's a very enhanced transportation option for an older person. We also do, periodically, we're asked to do gardening. Volunteers who love to garden come in and trim roses or pick fruit or whatever seasonally is going on, running errands. During pandemic, we did a lot of calling people just to check in. How are you doing today? So what's up? We went to Zoom as our service delivery model. We had to. That made it very difficult for about 20% of our people, because the oldest of people are in their 90s on up, and they did not have technology in their workplace. And it's very much a struggle for them to be connected. So we have paper and writing and mailings we do to what we call our paper people, fondly our paper people. And we also keep them connected by phone so that they are not left out. They're not out there by themselves, which everyone felt during the pandemic. They're connected with us, and they know that it's a caring community. We also will do, we've just hired someone to do a little bit of tech help for us. We've also worked with intergenerational, with younger people at our high school who have helped us learn how to program our telephone. I was running around appless, and we had to figure out how to manage that in a time when we all need technology and need to connect. We also will help with the business assistance as needed. We will do light housekeeping, cooking, pet walking, all kinds of things on a one-by-one basis in an emergency. But generally, those are things you can hire someone to do regularly, and that's not what we're replacing. We're really an addition, an enhancement, if you will, to keep life safe and connected for older people in our membership. So those are the things we offer.
Awesome. Wow. And so, okay, these all sound so great. So I want to ask, like, how could somebody access these services or be part of this? Are there any limitations about who could join these services and programs?
Well, at this point, our limitation is a little limited by our volunteers and where they're located. And we are expanding both our volunteer base and our membership base into Vallejo. We've just begun that. We know we have about 10 members over there now. And it's easier for volunteers if the people are closer to where they are. Easier for them to drive them places. So we're trying to expand both the volunteer base, and we're recruiting right now for that, always are. And we're also recruiting for members. The limitation for a membership would really be, if there were any limitations, those limitations are of a mental or physical nature. If a person had severe dementia and was not able to make decisions for themselves in a solid way, that would be very much of a liability for a volunteer. And the same with physical liability. If there is someone who cannot manage themselves physically to be able to get in and out of a car. Right now we are limited because our volunteers we're trying to recruit younger volunteers. But for instance, a volunteer woman, we'd be hard pressed to fold up a wheelchair and stick it in our trunk. So if a person has a walker or a cane, that's not a problem at all. And the person can get it themselves in and out of a car. The wheelchair thing is a little more difficult. We don't have any kind of vehicle that can transport within our organization. So those things are more difficult. We have to then manage how to do, we're probably going to do hybrid programming where we can include that person on Zoom if we can get the technology to work for that person. So we want, our goal is to serve those that want to be part of us, to allow that to happen.
Amazing. And I know you spoke on the services, but could you tell us a little bit about the different programs that exist?
Sure. We are an active group. When we can get out and socialize and connect, we are busy. We're not exactly going to go to the high energy dance group or the rock concert, but we're going to Rosie the Riveter. We've gone to museums. We travel. And we travel to gardens. We travel, depending on what people's interests are. We've gone to a lot of different places to see various types of churches, just to see what they're like, different kinds of churches. People have wanted to know what a synagogue was like. They went on a tour. They have gone just a lot of different places for different things to explore. We also have all kinds of groups. We used to have a walking group. I expect that will pick up back up again. We have a movie group, a mahjong group, one that's just a talking group that is called Real People. It's something like Real People, people talking to people, and people just love to come. They just need to express themselves. They need to be heard. We see this with every age during this pandemic. So we do a lot of things like that. And then we also have started to include many of our members in some of our committee work, people who have great skills, but they have not thought about themselves as a volunteer. They've thought about themselves as the receiver of services, but suddenly they're feeling very viable. And they loved working on this particular website for SolanoConnex. They loved it. They thought it was so much fun to be asked. They've loved pretending to be patients for your physical assistant program. They thought that was a physician assistant, excuse me. They thought that was just really fun, really enjoyable, and they would gladly do that again. So those are the kinds of things that we're doing. A lot of programs we also are doing, I mentioned briefly, intergenerational, working with a special group from one of the nonprofits in town that works with kids from the high school. And those kids may or may not have older relatives. They may not have grandparents. And we have grandparents who may have grandkids, but they may be somewhere else. And so they have helped us now with the technology. We have lined up for this spring, possibly an art project, doing murals together, which just sounds like fun play. We've also thought about doing a cooking class together. And again, this is because of proximity. We've not been able to do that, but those are in the wings waiting to happen. And we hope from that, we will develop deep friendships between the generations. We think that's pretty exciting. We have tales to tell. We're open to telling those tales. We have far more than medical history to offer. We have members who've come and who've lived or have come from countries all over this world. And they've been part of every major event in this world. When the Berlin Wall went up, not when it went down, when it went up, when Korea and North Korea, when all of that was going on. We have people who were children when London was being bombed during World War II. And those are their memories, and they make history come alive for young people. And we hope that we can also share that with the community, but it also is a program piece that keeps our people engaged.
That's great. So, okay, all these services and all these programs sounds so good. So how does somebody sign up?
Well, people find out about us from a lot of things. Certainly word of mouth among older people talking to their neighbors, or someone who's hearing this and saying, well, my mother would love to do that. She's so lonely, or she can't get out now and she'd love to be able to get a ride. So they find out that way. And the way they actually can sign up, the easiest way is through our website. There's an application on our website. It's www.carquinezvillage.com, all lowercase, very easy to get in like that. They also can make a quick phone call, and we have a number, which we also could post, which is 707-297-2472. And we have volunteers that answer that periodically through the day. They return the phone calls, and they will put those people who are interested in touch with our membership chair, who will call them. They'll have an orientation, whether they're calling to be a volunteer, or they're calling because they would like to be a member, or they know someone who would like to be a member. So that's the easy way. It's a quick entry. There is a fee, but we also have a small scholarship program for people who might not be able to pay the fee, which is the fee, by the way, it's not really a fee, it's called dues. The dues for the membership are just a little bit over $1 a day, like $1.10 or something like that a day. Many people look at that dues as sort of an insurance policy. Well, what if I have to have cataract surgery? My daughter's in Texas. How do I can't drive there and I can't drive back. Who's going to get my groceries while I have that surgery? Who's going to take care of my cat? Those things come up and you can't always plan for them. So they consider it like an insurance policy because they have at the ready friends that are in their neighborhood, in their community, ready to help.
I can't say enough how amazing everything that Carquinez Village does is. And I just wanted to see if there's anything else that you wanted to add that we didn't have the opportunity to touch on yet.
Well, we are trying to get more involved with the website and with also with the Facebook and some of the other more technological pieces, because we're seeing that our new incoming members and of course our volunteers and people we would like to talk to who are younger volunteer use those more than people who are older than I am. And so we want to be modern and we want to be in touch with our community, and through technology we can do that. We also have something that runs in the Benecia paper, and on our website, we have it archived, and that is called Voice of the Village. These are wonderful tales that two of our founders write religiously and have for years about the village, about what we're doing, and about sort of the senior mind, the older mindset, because we're really looking at an interesting time when people are reimagining what it's like after retirement, because you really do have a third of your life ahead. And what are you going to do? And what friends are you going to make for the rest of your life? And that's a pretty exciting proposition that wasn't available to people 20 years ago. It's increased with our longevity and with our health, which has everything to do with healthcare. So we're very, very pleased to be partnering with Toro on several projects which involve some of our members. So that's just a little plug I would make for Toro. They've been a great partner so far, and I expect it will only grow. And the last thing is to just plug to say that this doesn't, the machine of this, the success of this does not move without volunteers, without people giving from their hearts. And sometimes it's just a 2 or 3 days and a week in a month, and it's at your own schedule. But there is a huge benefit because you feel so thankful when you can give back to someone who is very gracious, because you're talking to them and giving them attention that they might get from their family and they might not, because they may live away from their family. So it's just an extension of community that is embracing and engaging and supportive for our older people. And it's just it's a wonderful experience to be part of it.
Well, thank you so much, Linda, for joining us today and teaching us more about Carquinez Village. To learn more about this resource, check out the link in our post. And we just want to remind you that if you're looking for other mental and emotional health resources, you can visit SolanoConnex.org, which is spelled CONNEX.org. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.